Our lesson is called Light and Shadows, and we chose a book called Dark as a Shadow by Lawrence Lowry. This book explores how shadows are formed and teaches students that light shining on an object causes the object to cast a shadow. The book is written in rhymes to make reading more intriguing to students. The science concepts that we used from our book were light travel, light absorption, and reflection. For our lesson, we divided it into 2 days. On day 1, we will focus on the engage part of our lesson plan. This section involves reading the book Dark as a Shadow and asking questions while we read. Students will go on a shadow walk around the school, make observations, and take notes about shadows. Then we will come back and share in class. For day 2 of our lesson plan, we include an explore, explanation, and elaborate portion. The explore section includes students working in groups in a dim room, experimenting with flashlights on objects such as a paper cup, a rock, a plastic water bottle, and a mirror. Students will observe the changes in light and shadows. The students will note observations on chart paper and answer questions listed on the worksheet at their table. For the explanation part of our lesson plan, the teacher will go over students' observations in a whole class discussion. The teacher will introduce concepts such as light absorption and shadows and light reflection by drawing pictures on the board to discuss why certain things happened when light hits different objects. During the elaborate portion of our lesson plan, students will write a rhyming poem using shadows and light as a theme. They will include a title, at least 6 lines, information about the science concept, and an illustration. To summarize the lesson, the teacher will play a video called Shadow, the Dr. Monach Show. This will effectively close the lesson. The science concepts we used from our book are light travel, light absorption, and reflection. For our ELA integration, we use standard RI.4.1, which says refer to details and examples in a text when explaining what the text says explicitly and when drawing inferences from the text. We would have used this during the engage portion of our lesson plan. We would have read Dark as a Shadow to students and asked questions that relate to details in the book about light and shadow. Students will discuss and respond to what they learned about shadows from the book as well as the shadow walk around school. We also use standard W.4.2, which says write informative or explanatory text to examine a topic and convey ideas and information clearly. We would have used this during the explore section of our lesson plan. Students would have answered questions explaining what is happening to the shadows and light in different circumstances. The science standard that we used was 4.P.3.2, which says recognize that light travels in a straight line until it strikes an object or travels from one medium to another, and that light can be reflected, refracted, and absorbed. We also use Next Generation Standard 1.PS4.3, which says plan and conduct investigations to determine the effect of placing objects made with different materials in the path of a beam of light. The objective for our lesson was students will be able to explain what happens when light hits an object. Students will create a poem describing what happens when light hits an object.